All right, so I'm not like a Tibetan monk. I'm not that disciplined. I doom scroll a lot. And when I was doom scrolling the other day, I saw this video that was pretty funny. And what do you do when you see a funny video? You go in the comments. Unfortunately, this video got to the point of virality where the entire comment section was just filled with like 28 brands. And you know how people get when a brand or company comments on their video? They fold immediately. Oh my god, Jack in the Box commented on my video. And I'm not trying to be the fun police. I don't hate fun. I don't hate whimsy. I just think that this isn't as fun or as whimsical as it seems. If a video gets big enough, you could almost guarantee that the comments are gonna look like that one picture of like the American hellscape. And even if the comments or whatever are filled with actual funny jokes from these corporations, from these brands, I just still think that we've gotten way too comfortable with corporations acting like people in spaces that were supposed to be for people. There was a time when every corporate account on the internet, on every platform, was just sterile and boring. The most exciting thing you would ever get out of an account back then was like a coupon code. But I remember all of that changing around 2016-17. All this began with one intern or social media manager for the Wendy's Twitter account. This guy tweeted at Wendy's and accused them of lying about their fresh, never frozen beef, whatever, and Wendy's clapped back. And it wasn't like a corporate statement or anything, it was like a Twitter reply, it was a Twitter clapback. And it seems so tame by today's standards, but this moment was the like Oppenheimer moment for the rest of brand social media. I vividly remember people talking about the Wendy's Twitter account and like screenshotting it, sending it, being like, oh my god, I can't believe Wendy's said this, or Wendy's is doing this. And they were on a little bit of a hot streak. I think like the year or the year or two prior, they launched the 4 for 4, which was like revolutionary, if you know, you know. But it just had people talking about Wendy's. A lot of people were talking about Wendy's, and it got to a point where the people themselves were memeing Wendy's. So obviously they doubled down and continued doing what they were doing, and every other corporation took notice. It was low-key like an infinite money glitch for them, so I get it to an extent, but it got really annoying really fast, at least for me. When Wendy's started doing it and when they were like the only people doing it, it felt kind of cool and interesting because it felt like this Wendy's admin on their Twitter was doing something they weren't supposed to do. And when it became obvious that this was the strategy and they were okay with this, it felt like, I don't know, Wendy's is kind of cool. This is interesting because we had never seen anything like it before. So when every other company followed suit and started posting exactly the same, it just didn't feel unique anymore. It didn't feel cool, but it got way more engagement and way more views than their old style of advertising. So they just kept doing that kind of thing. This is how you get things like the Popeyes chicken sandwich craze and the chicken sandwich wars back then when they were beefing with like KFC and Chick-fil-A. This time period really was an infinite money glitch for them because all they had to do was post on Twitter that theirs was better and everyone would do the advertising for them. If you were like conscious back then, you remember what it was like back then. People were dying over the Popeyes chicken sandwich. And I think by like 2019, when this was all going down, it kind of got to a point where we were no longer like amazed by what these brands were saying on social media. In 2020, it all kind of got like depressing, and every brand, every company was like, in these unprecedented times. And they were all talking about like, oh, like we'll be there for you still. Another thing that kind of came and went with 2020 was that sort of corporate activism. There was a lot of really serious stuff going on in 2020. And to be honest, these brands and companies were doing a lot of performative solidarity. The personas that they were all like blowing up with in the past couple years sort of faded, and it made way for this kind of thing for a while. But even this proved to be corporations jumping on a trend. It really didn't have any meaning at all. When the social tide shifted, these companies completely stepped away from whatever they were doing in this era. Of course, for a lot of these companies, these weren't their real values. These are just the values that they needed to have in this era. But the next thing I can remember going further into the 2020s was the Duolingo stuff, and it actually, started organically, and of course, Duolingo themselves ruined it. There used to be these memes that Duolingo was threatening their users to do their language lessons. And this was something that caught on organically from the people, and people were making memes about it. There was a subreddit about it. And eventually Duolingo jumped in on the fun, and it was actually kind of funny for a little bit. And then as these companies do, they just ran it into the ground, and they ruined all the goodwill that they had with people for the most part. Slowly everyone just shifted back to what they were doing before, and now this is just life now. Every brand, every corporation acts like this online. And the craziest part about it all, and the part that makes me feel crazy, is that other people actually like it. They enjoy it. I didn't think that we'd be in 2026 and people would still be praising brands for infiltrating our spaces. Real life people will go up to you in the wild and say, "Did you see that Walmart comment?" And then what inspired this video that you're watching right now are those videos where someone's like, "I'm going on a 4-hour flight, and what brands will comment under my video?" I don't know if they even realize that they're basically just turning their comment section into free advertising. And these posts and these comments and whatever will have thousands of likes. These have to be literal drones. Are you guys doing this? Please tell me you guys aren't doing this. I hate to be the guy throwing around buzzwords, but this feels like a complete dystopia. And there are people right now, some of you maybe, that think I'm overreacting, and I couldn't disagree more. These companies, these brands are not our friends, and what they want is really kind of evil. And I feel like if our brains weren't so fried from the past 6 years of this, we'd be more aware of what's going on. When the internet arrived and when social media was popping up here and there, this was supposed to be an escape and a place where we can connect. The entire real world is already completely commodified. You step outside, you want to do anything, you have to pay money. You drive down the street, down the highway, there's billboards everywhere. You want to relax, you watch TV, obviously there are commercials. You want to go to the radio, there's commercials. You want to watch a YouTube video, there's ads. Your entire existence is just one giant marketplace where people are trying to extract capital from you. But there was a time when social media was supposed to be like a third place, a place where you can just hang out with people, see new things from people. But unfortunately, we let them in. And what better a platform to talk about this happening on than YouTube? I always get sentimental about YouTube, the old slogan, broadcast yourself, because this was a platform for people by people. In the earliest days of YouTube, after it was a dating site, it was a place where people uploaded grainy webcam videos of them lip syncing, or random videos of cats, or sick videos of them dancing at talent shows. It was so cool watching people rise through the ranks of YouTube with skating videos or skits, and it was all completely organic. Then, of course, like sharks with blood in the water, the brands realized there was millions of views on this website, and they weaseled their way in. But it wasn't even just with advertisements, and we all know how crazy that's gotten over the years on YouTube. I remember everyone, including myself, used to freak out about how much Jimmy Fallon was in the trending tab. YouTube was actively pushing these corporate legacy media channels over authentic channels made by real people. And then, of course, as YouTube got bigger and bigger and bigger, there just was more ads and more ads and more ads. The thing with YouTube, though, is when these brands were on YouTube, it was mostly media brands. Jimmy Fallon had a show, so it made sense that they would post clips on YouTube. But you weren't going to see trending videos from like Coca-Cola. So as the platform evolved, yeah, YouTube did get more corporate over time, but mainly the problem has been regular ads. You can't say the same for platforms like Instagram and Twitter and TikTok though. On Twitter and TikTok specifically, it gets a little crazy because these companies actually have profiles. And like I said, companies have channels on YouTube, but they're not trending, they're not making videos or anything. But on Twitter and TikTok, these companies exist in the same way that me or you or whoever does. On YouTube, an ad is an ad. It interrupts the video. You know you're looking at a commercial and you can't wait for it to be over. And on Twitter and TikTok, you get that too, and you've got it a lot more in the past couple years. But on Twitter, on TikTok, and a little bit of Instagram to an extent, they get a profile. They get a profile picture, they get a bio. They post stuff that organically ends up on your For You page right next to stuff that you actually care about. The regular traditional ads are there, and they're there a lot. But like I've been saying this whole video, there can be a normal video and they'll be in the comments. That's something that doesn't happen in other forms of advertisement. That's like if me and you were talking at a bar about whatever, and a representative from McDonald's butted in and said some cringy joke. If that happened in real life, I don't think there would be a single person okay with that. That's weird. Why are you here in full McDonald's clothing, pretending to be a human being, telling jokes that are like a year or two old? But for whatever reason, when a brand has a profile on a social media platform and is pretending it's a part of our trends and our jokes in our spaces, nobody bats an eye. When you take a step back and look at everything, you have to ask yourself, are brands on social media ever a good thing? And I'm gonna be completely honest, I sat down when I was making this video and I tried to end it on a positive note, and I tried to say, hey, this is an example of a brand doing it right. And as I was looking at all these different companies trying to find a brand that uses social media to just like build a community and talk with people instead of talking at them, I realized I couldn't really find a brand that doesn't feel soulless online. I don't really have a good example, and the reason I don't have a good example is because the core concept itself is just wrong. These brands are legally obligated entities designed for one purpose, and that's to generate profit for their shareholders. That's their entire reason for existing. Any community building they do, any meme they post, anytime they try to act relatable in a comment section, it's all just marketing. It's extremely calculated, it's not spontaneous, and it's all so they can implant their logo in your subconscious so that the next time you're hungry or you need shoes or whatever, you'll give them your money. But all you have to do is recognize that. We don't have to both be so doomer about this. You don't have to delete your apps. You don't have to live in the woods. You just have to be aware of this and start protecting your social spaces again. You have no reason to be following the official Taco Bell Twitter account. You have no reason to beg brands to comment on your video while you go on a flight. If a brand pops up in a comment section or on your timeline, just scroll past it like you would any other ad. We do have the power to just ignore them. The internet is still our place. There's plenty of like actual people doing cool stuff on the internet. So why let the corporations be a part of our conversations? Was that a weird way to end the video? I feel like that was a weird way to end the video. I didn't really know how to end it, but I just want to take a minute to thank you guys for the support on the recent videos. I know this one's like a little different, but I hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.